time now to review headlines on today's newspapers. I will be doing this just myself and Steve today. We don't have our ombudsman in the studio. We really miss him. But we'll hold this one down.
Absolutely. So we'll start with this day on Sunday. Yes. The lead story here says, APC begins review of zoning this week, but Tinubu stands in queue with Akpabio. And the riders say moves to compensate North Central. Abbas Kalu urged Sanwo-Olu to reach out to governors, other aspirants. Yari Wright, senators-elect, insists on contesting for Senate presidency. I mean, the tussle for who becomes, the Senate president, deputy,
I was waiting for May
speaker.
29th to come, but now I'm waiting for June so that we can even just know.
By June 10, 12,
we have an idea.
We know where we're going. I think that they have over-politicized this. I think that is too intense. I think that the party, is getting too much in the way, and it's no longer sounding like democracy. Constitutionally, these people are allowed to choose their leaders. Don't force on account of zoning and preference. Don't force things on them. There are better ways to deal with this sort of a thing. But hey, it's politics, isn't it?
Definitely.
On top of that, in building bridges, Tinubu's loyalists visit Bode George, seek support for president-elect. I mean, when I saw this news yesterday, I thought, hey, that may not be a bad one after all. You know that Chief Bode George, who's like the godfather, in quote, of PDP in Lagos State, has been at daggers drawn with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's probably the #1 critic of the president-elect in Lagos State. Sometimes you wonder, what is the basis of this criticism? This is not to disagree with him, but to say that when did he start? At what point will it end? If he's destined to be president and has become president, will it not be better to maybe offer useful advice and let's even see whether he would do something differently? But I like the fact that at least he listened to the loyalists from Tinubu's camp who say, boss, let's talk. We know that you don't like this person. We don't want you to leave Nigeria as you vowed that you will leave if Tinubu emerges president. But I think this is also part of the larger picture that the loyalists of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, are working on. Those who used to be very close to him, who were in his camp, who were his boys, if you like, but somehow maybe out of politics. There are a number of names that that they're mentioning that they may be trying to reach out to. A number of people to say that here is a man that has emerged as president. If there are issues, let's settle it.
Let's have conversations
let's have conversations. I think it's on that basis that they're meeting with Bode George. What comes out of it, we will see in the coming days. But this is to say that there's really no fight that can end if both parties mean well. On top of that, there's a strip, I will be president by God's grace, will be clarified. That's a story on page 12 of today's Day. And I think this is coming as a clarification after the book launch in Noka, where he says, I must be president. Well, that's the interpretation of the media, but he's saying that even if it's not today, I'll be president, tomorrow, eventually. But then clarification has come the same way that many who support Obi vehemently will demand clarifications from Ebola Tinubu. For example, to say what he said is not clear, is mumbo jumbo, but then here is a younger Obi also giving clarifications on what he meant to say as different from how it was out.
Interpreted. Yes.
And it is okay to aspire, it's okay to dream. And he has fought a good fight. It's not done yet. The courts will determine. But whichever way it goes, he has not done badly. And like we said yesterday, not everybody will be like a Tinubu, who at first attempt, it clicks.
Yes.
Some you have to do like several throws before you get 666. At what point Obi's 666 will come is a matter of destiny and persistence, and we'll see that. On the window, NMPC security agencies impound 1,000-ton barge in fight against oil theft. Kiari's intervention unlocked 30,000 barrels per day of crude oil. You know, OML 130, that's Total Energy boss talking. I mean, it's good news to say that the intervention by the NMPC to protect the crude oil, to save, you know, our crude that has been stolen is yielding results. That's what we want to know. Yes, there is a deal with Tompolo to safeguard the pipelines and everything. It looks like maybe it's working. I think that Tony Elumelu also made an allusion to that the other day to say that it looks like things are improving. So good news. The bigger news will be how you handle the subsidy matter. You know, safeguard our thing, but handle the subsidy matter well, because you can have a single approach to trying to save money without thinking of how it will affect the populace. And by the way, as you know, the $800,000 million that will come to 5,000 per person, about 12 million people over 6 months, cannot be a reasonable way to try to make an intervention in people's lives. So good news, we acknowledge that. Last but not the least is the cover picture. That's the MD of this day newspaper, Eniola Bello, our own NEB, receiving the African Media Entrepreneur Icon of the Decade Award on behalf of the chairman, editor-in-chief of this day Arise Media Group, Prince Nduka Obagbila, from the Deputy Governor of Delta State, Mr. Kingsley Ochuaro, at the National Dailies Awards in Lagos over
Very
the
well
weekend.
deserved.
Absolutely. So that's a good one. Another one in the kitty.
Another one in the bag for our sister company.
So that's a good one. Have we got anything?
Oh yes,
on
this day style,
yeah.
We do have the beautiful Ifeyinwa Ighodalo on the cover of this day style. She's celebrating her birthday. The sign of there says a passion for design. And if we just go in, further, we're talking about on the cover note. You know, when you meet the beautiful Ifeyinwa Ighodalo, you wouldn't guess her age if you tried. The stunningly beautiful 63-year-old accountant turned interior designer is a force to be reckoned with. Born and raised in Ibadan, she holds a BSc in accounting from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, but her knack for aesthetics and space eventually led her to the world of interior design. You know, as she celebrates her 63rd birthday, she shows no signs of slowing down. As she says, I am young at heart and try not to take life or myself too seriously. You know, I take that feather from her heart. I try not to take life too seriously, you know, just here for a short time, so why not just have a great time while we're here?
How did you describe her? But stunningly beautiful? Or
Stunningly beautiful, Ifeyinwa Ighodalo.
Okay.
All right, let's
That's a big one. Let's move to Sunday Punch quickly. And the banner headline says, unpaid salaries. Plateau, Abia, Benue governors-elect. Others face workers' fury. 7 outgoing governors leave successors with multi-billion naira unpaid salaries. Pay all outstanding salaries before exiting. TUC advises Autumn, Ikpeazu, Lalong, others. You know, these are states where people, other people were desperate to go in as governors, and when they were declared winners, they're jubilating. Probably ignoring the fact that they're going in there to meet billions and billions of naira in debt left by their predecessors. I mean, this is an important story in my opinion, and I hope that the media should always monitor what is going on. A few other stories on the cover: National Assembly leadership, like we read in this day, anointed candidates pressure APC governors to beg aggrieved aspirant. You can see a bit of arm twisting there. I say that I think it was Abbas, who has been nominated to be the Speaker for the 10th Assembly, coming to see the Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and asking him to please, talk to your colleagues. How governors now become big players in who should emerge the leadership, of. I mean, it beats me. But a story that I think that we shouldn't miss on the cover of today's Punch: outrage as Shenkuti slaps cop. IG orders singers arrest. And I mean, this is just a sad, unfortunate development. I've watched the video several times, the clip, you know, and I've read what Shinkuti has put out about the provocation and how a police officer
had put his family's life in danger. But I mean, just looking at that video, you could see that the policeman wasn't reacting in any way, and he was physically assaulted. So when you look at this, there's no two wrongs don't make it right.
Nothing can justify what Shinkuti did, and I'm just sorry that he had to do that. At a point, his wife even came out to try to appeal to him. He sent her away. You know, not even Fela, you know, in all those years, attempted to slap a police officer or assault him.
Well, the investigation is going to commence, and then they will get to the bottom of it.
It's just bad. I just hope that, you know, he will learn some lessons here, because he's a great, brilliant guy. But, you know, you can proceed in this manner.
Definitely.
All right. That brings us to the end of the morning show today. Thank you for watching, and stay safe.